What's going on, guys? This is Dave from PNP, and I'm here to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. I just want to remind you that's the easiest place to play. There ain't too many places where you can win 20 times your money in the same night, utilizing higher lowers in the pick'em game. And now they have pick'em insurance, where while you won't win the same amount of money that you did before, you can miss one and still bring home some money. So if you do it 3 times, you could potentially still get your money back if you end up missing one. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up today and use the code PNP when you do. And the $100 deposit match still stands. Underdog Fantasy.
Panther Nation Podcast. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, cut it. Cut right. And I would like to introduce one of the hottest podcasts in Carolina history. Let's go. Yeah. Stop, let's chat. We got time to chop it up. Talking analytics and fantasy draft. You know what's up. Panther Nation representing, cause this is where we talk that. Talk that's so incredible. Make them rewind that talk back. Pause. Talking Panthers football, we discussing it all. On and off the field, you know exactly who to call. You know we the #1 podcast. Competition is non-existent, you need to stop that. Pause. It's an honor to be a Panther fan, pause. At Bank of America, that is where we ball. Coming to the jungle, then you gonna feel the pause. Winning the trophy for the city, it is the call. Black, white, and blue, we going Carolina strong. And this is the conversation where everyone belongs. Discussing all the numbers and topics, you know we got it. We the hottest podcast, and we poppin', let's go.
What's going on, guys? This is Dave, one half of PNP. We're here to do the fantasy Q&A for the week and talk about waiver wire primarily. Figure out how last week went. I went 5-2 this week in my leagues. Considering that I start two of them, that's impressive in itself, and I won both of those. But now we're in week 4. Hopefully, none of you guys are 0-4. So we shall see how you guys are feeling. So we'll talk about record status right now. If you're like undefeated, you really ain't got to do much right now. I mean, you just adjust your team as you go, but you don't need to be trying to trade the team away that just got you 4-0 unless you got a barrage of injuries, and we'll get into that because there was some decent chunk of injuries that's going to impact some teams. Now, if you're 3-1, you're still sitting in a good spot. 2-2, you're sitting in a good spot. 1-3, no reason to panic yet. 0-4, you might have to start thinking about a panic. So, yeah. My opponent forgot to bench Kamara too, and I was thankful. I ended up winning that matchup by 90. But I think even if he swapped somebody, it wouldn't have mattered. My team was running all cylinders in that lineup. So if you want to talk about selling, make sure you follow me on my personal. I do take questions there as well occasionally. Now, if you want to talk about somebody you need to sell and trade, we can talk about Christian McCaffrey. Typically go over Panthers players first before we get into everybody. If you want to talk about somebody you need to look into trading, if you have Christian McCaffrey, I think it's time to go ahead and move him. I think this is where you need to start thinking about moving him. Now, I have Christian McCaffrey in 2 leagues, and I do plan on putting him on the block, but I'm not telling you to give him away. But I think you could probably get a more consistent RB1 back or something that's going to, like, at this point, I'm concerned about the injury factor with him. And from a Panthers perspective, if we continue to lose, I think they'll be more willing to sit him. So that's what I'm trying to take into account right now. So from my perspective, I think this is the time to try to get McCaffrey off your lineup, but don't give him away. Try to get a wide receiver 1. Try to get a running back 1 back. Try to get maybe a RB2 and a wide receiver 2 back. But I think this is the time to start thinking about moving McCaffrey if you have him in your team. I don't think this is the time to trade for him. I think this is the time to move on from him. Not unless you get a deal if you're trading for him. But I don't want you to have to give your team away to do it. So now And that's the other factor too. The fact that we run the fewest plays in the NFL. But Christian McCaffrey is still ranked as one of the best running backs in fantasy. We'll go over that data in a few. So I think this is the time to do it. Feel free in the chat to give me scenarios, and I'll tell you how I feel about it when it comes to trading for McCaffrey. I would do this in a heartbeat. I would go get, if somebody's willing to give up Justin Jefferson for McCaffrey, I would do it in a heartbeat. Heartbeat. No, he's not. No, he's not. You got to keep him off principle because he's still getting the targets. But I don't trust him. I'm happy I told you guys to avoid him because folks were telling me he was a 4th round grade. Looks like I'm right. You know who did take off? TJ Hawkinson. Now he took off. That's what a takeoff looks like. Still worried about Pacheco though. I'm worried about Mr. Pacheco. I'm worried about Isaiah. Just a tad. Who are the top 3 TEs this year? Well, let's start with tight end. Let me show you. Let me give me 1 second. Present screen, Chrome tab, scoring leaders. Bam. All right. Let's look at the tight ends. We'll do for the whole season. And there's your 3. Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson. Those are your 3. You know where you got these guys. You probably could have waited to get this guy. And then Zach Ertz, Higbee, Everett, Everett probably wasn't even drafted in some leagues. Conklin definitely wasn't. There's your tight ends. Here we go. By far, the bottom line is Hawkinson's big day last week pretty much bolted him at the top. And Mo Alley Cox, I don't know if I trust that. Because of the target share that he's been getting. So I'm not sure if I trust that. But look at this, man. And the crazy thing is, Mark Andrews was number 2 overall. And where is he? Did I see him? Did I miss him? And look how low he is on the totem pole. He didn't have a good day last week. He only got 3.5 points. And that's still good enough for him to be number 2 overall this season. Dude got 3.5 points last week, and Mark Andrews is still second. That tells you how big that lead was. Travis Kelce tends to be more consistent. If you go look at his logs, he's more consistent. If your floor is 10 points as a tight end, that's a good place to be. But typically, he's going to get you in the 20s, between 15 and 25. Can't be mad at that. Whereas Mark Andrews can be Jekyll and Hyde with it. Like, you could have games like this, especially when you're going up against a defense like Buffalo that's going to try to shut you down. So those are the things you got to take into account. His target share fell significantly in this game as well. So Hawkinson being at number 3, we know he had that big game last week. He hasn't been as good, but I will say this: other than the Minnesota game, he got at least 7 targets in each game, and that's what I like to see. Like, if I can get a tight end that's getting this type of target share, I'm not mad at that because the targets turn into catches turn into TDs, and that's what we saw last week when that man got 12 targets. Dude almost got 40 fantasy points last week. So that's your tight end breakdown. DJ should remain your bench until further notice. I'm still not ready to drop him because he's still getting enough targets. But I think because at a minimum, he could be a bye week fill-in, and the bye weeks are coming. So at a minimum, you could take that into account. So no, you can't. I wouldn't drop DJ because his target share is still too high. He's just somebody that I can't start. Can only start 2. Who you picking? Herbert, AJ Dillon, Ramde, Naheem Hines. Montgomery might be back this week, so Herbert might be out of the running. I would start Dillon. Depending on the status of Jonathan Taylor, Hines would probably be involved too. Ramondre is tough, man. Stevenson and Harris, that running back situation in New England is tough. So I would probably go AJ Hines would be my 2. And I think that's even if Taylor plays, I think I'm still leaning towards that. Unless Montgomery's out. And if Montgomery's out, then I'll go with Herbert. So there's your answer. I hope that was helpful. Stick with Logan Thomas or pick up Disley or Mo Cox. If you're gonna move Logan Thomas, I would probably roll with Disley. But Logan Thomas, I think it might be time to start thinking about that move. When you look at his numbers, I mean, he's getting decent target share for a tight end, but he's not getting as much opportunity as you would like. And you could get that low end stuff. Whereas Disley, I'm pretty sure Disley is consistently getting more targets, but I could be wrong there. I think he's more TD dependent than we give him. Yeah, his target share ain't where it needs to be. He's 3 out of 4 games he got a touchdown. You take those away, he's pretty much the same. I think I would lean towards sticking with Logan Thomas, unless you're willing to go with a boom or bust guy. Mo Cox is the same thing. Because Mo Cox up is another situation where he's got to be dependent on targets. You could probably try to pay attention to the trends here because this just might be an anomaly because prior to this, he really wasn't getting much love. So just keep that in mind. Let's see here. Let me see where we're at. I don't know if I agree with that. I think the way that he's playing, Pacheco might pass him. I don't know if I agree with this either. I mean, what has Dawson Knox done? Let's see here. Let's pull up Knox. 23. Targets are going in the right direction, but he's not getting touchdowns. So, but he's getting targets. For a tight end, I want to have at least 5, if possible. And he's pretty much sitting in that spot other than the first game. But, I mean, there are better options. We want to talk about tight ends that might be available this week. Let's go to that. So let's look at this number right here for last week. Obvious. Breaking in 8 targets is interesting. If Njoku's available, he should, but he probably isn't. Well, he might be available in your league. He took a big jump last week. If he's available, this is a guy that you should try to go after if he's available. Knox getting 6 targets is pretty good. Notice all these folks with 6 targets. This is where your wasteland lives, man. You know, if Conklin's available, I would still I'll put a flyer on him if he's there. I mean, he's still a top 10 tight end. Look at Kyle Pitts. Poor Kyle Pitts. So that game against Seattle was an anomaly. Yeah, nah. You know, Gesicki can't do it with this, man. The target shares are bad. Irv Smith Jr. might be somebody I might be willing to take a risk on because he's getting the targets. He's just not getting the love enough. But you got to remember, man, once you get past some of these top guys like your Travis Kelce's, your Tyler Higbees when it comes to the targets, your Hawkinsons, your Mark Andrews, even your Goddards and your Zach Ertz, it's ugly after that, guys. And even Pat Furman, but I think he's been taken everywhere. But like tight ends are ugly. And we all know that. I've done multiple videos about the wasteland of the tight end position. And I expressed that if you're gonna go get one early, the only ones you should probably worth getting early is probably Kelce and Andrews. Everybody else can wait. And so far, I've been on it because a lot of the guys that are ranked high up, and we'll pull up the full season rankings again just so you can see it. A lot of the guys that are ranked high, you could have got them after the 5th round. A lot of them. These two, Travis and Mark Andrews, you couldn't. Hawkinson, you could. Ertz, you could. Higbee, you could. Everett wasn't drafted. Furman, you could. Conklin wasn't drafted. So these guys are your top tight ends. These two, you knew who were going to be at the top. Everybody else was a mixed bag. Njoku wasn't drafted in a lot of leagues. Some of you guys reached for Waller. I told you I wasn't high on Waller but prior to the drafts, I said I wasn't high for a reason. Mo Cox only had one big game, and this dude's almost in the top 15. He's 13th in tight end. The dude only had one big game. He had one big game last week. The other ones, it was boom or bust. Dude only had no more than 3 targets until last week. And he's the 13th best tight end in fantasy. Wasteland status. That's what the position is. Look at Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is going to be interesting as long as Jameis is out, because he might get you a touchdown. Not by catching the ball, but maybe running it. So just keep that in mind. But he's TD dependent. There might be some games you don't get in. Things you got to keep in mind. So, let me pull up fantasy points, excuse me. But these guys right here, man, when you look at these rankings, these are the guys, like even as bad as my man just talked about getting rid of Logan Thomas. He's 15th. He's 15th. Disley's 10th. He's 10th. He's more consistent. I'll give him that. But the problem is he's very TD dependent. But that also means he gets opportunities in the red zone. So, that might not be a bad problem to have with Geno Smith. Speaking of Geno Smith, let's go to the quarterback position, shall we? So here's your leaders. Look who's number 5. And he's available in a lot of leagues, folks. You got to go get him if he ain't there. If he's there, you got to go get him. Jared Goff is balling, guys, for Detroit. Never thought I would say that. You got to go get him. And look who's in the top 10. Geno. And I know he's available. Got to go get him if you need quarterback help. Bye weeks are approaching. Check the schedule. See what it's looking like. Check that sched. See what it's looking like, guys. Geno out here balling out of his mind. And we don't know how long Tua's going to be out. But you're going to have to come up with an alternate for a little while. As bad as Russell's been, he's still 12th. As bad as he's been. But he balled last week, so we have to, monitor that. So there you go, man. Here's your quarterback options. Notice who's at the top. Lamar, Josh, Mahomes. Part of my big 4. Herbert's right here. Jalen Hurts was my sleeper guy. He's there. I wasn't a fan of Murray. I might have to be eating crow on Murray. And Jared Goff came out of nowhere. Burrow's expected. Geno came out of nowhere. Geno's out playing Russell Wilson if you want to keep it a buck. But, that's a different discussion for a different day. All right. Let me go check your questions out because I've been just going in and out. Yeah, man, if with Cordell Patterson out, this guy's going to get some burn, and it's good to see. I think I prefer him over the Patriots situation for sure. Noli. That's fair, but Lamar still did his thing, so it's all about perspective. I would like the problem with Kyle Pitts is that it's not like he's not getting the targets. He's just not getting. He's not taking advantage of the targets that he's getting. It all depends on what your options are. But it goes back to the discussion point about the tight end position being a wasteland. I didn't even check. How did Derek Carr do last week? Let me check what happened for the week 4. Who was ranked where? Well, Derek Carr didn't do too hot. I don't know who the other alternative was. I could have been wrong, and I'll own up to it. I'll own up to it if I'm wrong. Was it Derek Carr or Mariota? Because I don't remember. I don't remember what you asked then. Oh, I've been starting Olave for the past couple of weeks. And he's still available in some leagues too. So if he's available, you should go get him. I've been starting him for the past couple of weeks in one of my leagues. He's getting enough target share and he's executing. And I think he's still viable even if Michael Thomas comes back. I think he's a low-end wide receiver too. High-end flex. I agree here. I would take Conklin over Knox. But that's a thing that I'm monitoring now that Zach Wilson's back. He didn't get the same amount of targets that he did before with the return of Zach Wilson. Let's see. Kittle had a decent game last week. This on Monday, I thought. I don't draft 2 tight ends. That's not my style, guys. There's some positions I don't draft 2 of. Quarterback, tight end. I don't draft 2 of those. I typically just draft 1 of those. Defense, kicker, same thing. I just draft 1 of those. I'd rather have my roster spots for depth in my wide receiver, running back positions, because those are the things that happen a lot with injuries and things of that sort. And unless you go and get the 2 top flight tight ends, which I still think is a waste of a pick for both of them. I mean, get one of them, then okay. But other than I'm not here for the 2 tight ends on my roster life. Nah, you can't do it, buddy. Yeah, because you lost my boy Javonte. That's tough luck. Speaking of that, let's talk about Javonte Williams real quick, because he's out for the season towards ACL. Melvin Gordon Jr. should be able to take advantage of this, but I think his leash is going to be short. So you might want to look into Latavius Murray. He just got signed by Denver, and Mike Boone. I think Gordon's going to get the first opportunity to keep the job, and I think Melvin Gordon is going to get the opportunity to get the bulk of the work. But I think if he fumbles again, because he fumbles every 8 carries, so if he fumbles one more time, I think he's going to be in the doghouse for good. And I think that'll open things up for Latavius Murray. I don't think Mike Boone is the type of running back that's going to get all the carries like that. So I think it's going to probably be Latavius Murray that's going to get the work. So I know I think if I would probably lean like, I don't know if I would mess with the Denver situation other than Melvin Gordon III, but if you have to, I think I'm starting to prefer Latavius Murray, but I wouldn't just put Latavius Murray in. I would wait and see. My opinion on it. Because I think Melvin Gordon's going to keep the job as long as he I think he's going through some things when it comes to his fumble problem. But if he can fix that, and I think this is going to be the time to do it. If he can fix that, I think they're going to be in a good spot. All right. I try to warn y'all about Waller. I try to warn y'all, man. I said, you see, the thing, when I talked about tight ends, my big thing was there were only 2. There were 2. Kelsey and Andrews. That was it. I put everybody else in the same pool because there's a lot of randomness when it comes to the position. And so there was only 2 dependable guys. You would have to pay some high draft capital to get them. Kelsey was going in the first, second round, and Andrews was right behind him. And sometimes Andrews would be in front of him. So when you talk about tight ends to take within the first 4 rounds, the only one that I was willing to do was Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. Everybody else, no interest. I'm waiting at that point. I said I'll wait for Pitts. I said I'll wait for Waller. I will wait for everybody else. Well, Furman has been balling anyway. You saw the numbers. Furman's been balling. I would probably pay Gino over Stafford at this point. It depends on what your options are, David. I mean, I'm concerned about McLaurin, not to the point of let me pull him up real quick. I'm concerned, but I'm not dropping him because he's getting the targets. He's just not taking advantage of those opportunities. Carson Wentz has been terrible. He was terrible the last week, so he's doing okay. I mean, truth be told, other than last week, I mean, he's startable. I mean, 13 points, they ain't nothing. 13, 12, 16, they ain't nothing to snuff at. It's just last week was bad. Last week was terrible. Here's your top wide receivers for last week. Josh Reynolds is available in a lot of leagues. Jamal Agnew is too, but I don't know I don't know how much you want to bank on this. He got 6 targets last week. If you think that's a trend, he could be on the list to go get. Corey Davis is near the top of my list. I think with Zach Wilson returning, I think he's going to benefit. So I like Corey Davis here. I think for me, because some of these guys might not be available, and Josh Reynolds is benefiting from the St. Brown injury, and so is Hawkinson, but I think Hawkinson's always going to get his target share. For me, Corey Davis is my top guy to go get if he's available in your league. Pickens too. I like Davis. I like Pickens. Pickens is the guy. If you need wide receiver help, you should go after. Dubes, same thing. I like Dubes as well. I think Rodgers is fine as guy. Who else we got? Isaiah McKenzie is an interesting one. He's concussed, but he should be back with Crowder being out for at least a month. I think McKenzie's going to get some opportunity and targets. Gabe Davis has been interesting because he hasn't really getting that many target share, but McKenzie has. If Gallup's available, you should go after Gallup. I think he's going to walk in he might end up being the number 2. So yeah. I mean, let's look at the targets, see what the targets are looking like. DJ Moore, man, this is why I can't drop him. And he got 12 points last week. But man, with 11 targets, man, that's something that I can't drop somebody with that much target share. We know how bad Baker's been, but I can't do it. Joe Burrow for me over Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, but I've never been a big fan of flexing your tight ends. Smart man. Stafford can't be trusted at this rate. This is tough. I still believe in McLaurin, but yeah, that was tough. But I think I'm leaning towards Thielen here because Thielen's getting the targets. His targets are trending up, so I'm leaning towards Thielen here. The problem with Washington is that, McLaurin is jockeying for position. I love Sutton. Oh, if you want to be safe, I think I'm probably going to go with Gordon here, but it's tough. That was tough. Because I think Algier is going to get opportunities to excel, but I think Gordon will too. But the problem is if Gordon fumbles, he's probably done for the day. So it's about how much risk you're willing to take. I think they're going to give Algier every opportunity to excel. Yeah, I would, because I think that's more defined. That's more defined for me. I think if you got Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, I wouldn't have a problem starting both from the Patriots. But if you only got one, it makes it very hard to start either one of them because you don't know what they're going to do. Oh, yeah, I would do this. I would absolutely do this. I think that's worth the risk. Oh, that part. Okay. Yeah, then I have to go Ramondre. I didn't even think about who the hell the Falcons were playing. I might have to go Ramondre then if that's the case. Yeah, Tampa's run defense is legit. All right, so let's look at the season rankings for wide receiver. We know Cooper Kupp's at the top, but let's look at everybody else. Diggs, Hill, Waddle's still top 5 with Hill. St. Brown was out, and he's still in the top 10. That's wild. Christian Kirk, Sutton. Look at Sutton, man. Now you want to talk about a steal. Curtis is still holding on. Olave's in the top 20. Garrett Wilson's interesting now. How did Garrett Wilson do last week? Oh, he didn't get that many. He got targets, but he ain't in sync with Zach Wilson yet. So we'll see what happens with that. Mike Williams, man. I think I'm ready to put, like, we got to check and see when we're going to get Keenan Allen back. Because I think once Keenan Allen comes back, Mike Williams is going to take a hit. And so I think I think he's somebody that you can consider trading and leveraging to try to improve the position, improve on a position if you can. Corey Davis is in the top 30. So, flex play. All right. So Corey Davis is definitely the top guy to get. I think he's legit for now. For now. He's fourth. But he's got folks. Oh, look who's fifth. And he's been pretty consistent, man. Right now, the bet on trading McCaffrey while he has his momentum is about whether or not you think he's going to survive the season. That's why I want to do it. And Eckler looks like he's back too. Had a nice little bounce back game. So, yeah. Josh Jacobs. He surprised me a bit. I don't know how long that's going to last, but I think against the Chiefs, he's going to have a lot of opportunity. And I was wrong on Miles Sanders. Wrong. I was wrong. I have to admit it. And I can admit when I'm wrong. Pierce is about to become a workhorse too. So we'll see how that goes. But the return of Barkley, man, has been fascinating to watch. Another guy, if you're not a believer, you probably could trade for him. But I think I got more faith in him than McCaffrey from a health standpoint. But we'll see. Corey Davis here for me. That's a good question. I think I would. Geno's been efficient. Yeah, I would still hold him because I think once he comes back, I think he's going to have the job in Washington. Now, that's a steal. Give Russ one more week, man. Who does Denver play next week? Yeah, give Russ one more week. Goff. Did you see the numbers? Let me show it to you again. I'll show it to you one more time. Let me show it to you one more time. Goff. He's wishy-washy, and against the Patriots this week is going to be tough. But who does Jacksonville place? Trevor Lawrence is ranked. He's ranked 15th. He's got a juicy matchup this week against Houston. But he struggled, man. He threw for less than 50% of his passes. That's tough. You're going against Philadelphia, though. Really good defense. But I still would take Goff this week. Yes, he is. The man who has the longest pass from an air yards perspective, longest pass completion from an air yards perspective to Tyreek Hill for 61 yards. So absolutely he's a waiver wire ad. He is. He absolutely is. Speaking of that, what did the quarterbacks do in week 4? Teddy got 10 points in relief. He got 10 points in relief. But 60.9% of his passes. He ran the ball once. Got the Jets this week. I like him this week. I do. I really do. For a streaming option, I like him this week. But Russ came back. Tom Brady came back. So we got some rebirth. Daniel Jones out here getting his points. You know what I'm saying? Even Matt Ryan had a decent day. Kind of amazing to see Zach Wilson in the top 12, though, isn't it? And Matt Ryan too. He's top 12. Cooper Rush is right behind him. And by the way, if you really need streaming help, Cooper Rush is a viable option too. Dak Prescott ain't gonna play, but that's just for a streaming move only. But they're going up against the Rams. But that could be a shootout, so who knows? Rodgers has been struggling, man. But at least he's been consistently getting you some points over the past 3 weeks. So, and he's got a juicy matchup against the Giants this week. So this might be finally his breakout game. Jalen's rough day at 16 points. Okay. I can live with that. If that's going to be the toughest day he has, I can live with that. And against the Cardinals, who has no defense, it'll get interesting. Doesn't look like it. Keep an eye on it, though. I think he's probably going to – I think Brian Robinson is a flex play as soon as he returns with RB2 upside. Tell me that pick is not the best option on your waiver wire, bro. I question when Tua is going to return too. That is a question that I don't know. I don't have an answer to. I don't do backup quarterbacks. I only pick up a second quarterback when it's the bye week for my starting quarterback. Yeah. I mean, super low end. He's probably more of a flex for me. More wide receiver 3-ish. I wouldn't drop Patterson because he's only going to be gone for a month. So I wouldn't drop Patterson. And I wouldn't drop Dak yet either because Dak might be back in a week. So I wouldn't drop neither one of them. Gibson for me. But it's dependent on Jonathan Taylor's availability. But right now, Gibson. Let's see here. Y'all want a streaming defense? Let's pull up some players that might be available in a waiver wire. Let me go. I'm going to pull up a team that I have, a 12-teamer. Let's do the PNP League. Let's do a PNP League, shall we? Let's see. Add players. Who's available? Out of everybody that's available in this league, I would go Mostert, Pacheco to stash. I'm pretty sure Latavius Murray might be available. Yep, he's available. He's another guy that you stash. Well, Melvin Gordon's going to definitely get the first opportunity. Benjamin's kind of interesting, but not interested enough for me from a running back standpoint. Reynolds is interesting if you believe Swift is going to be out a while. And other than that, I think that's all I'm touching. Murray, like I said, that's more of a stash play. The only guy that I would pick up this week if you're in a pinch that you might have to start, that you might need to start, is Mostert. But the other thing you guys got to take into consideration, man, the bye weeks are coming. So now so when you guys wonder why I don't have two quarterbacks most of the time, but the bulk of the time in my leagues, I don't have two tight ends because I need to have depth at running back and wide receiver when these bye weeks come. Because I want to have an intimidating squad every week because everybody's got to wrestle with the bye weeks. If you can get them for good value, I would. Schultz. Ezekiel Elliott is at the expense of Pollard, and he's not getting as many opportunities. He's not getting as many targets either. So when you take those two things into account, Pollard is going to eat up some of his opportunity a little bit. I think Ezekiel Elliott is a flex at best for the remainder of the season. He's still startable, but only in the flex spot, in my opinion. I literally moved him down to the flex this week. Appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. That's the key. Like, if you're 4-0 and you have an opportunity to get somebody like a Cordell Patterson off a desperate owner, I would say do it, but try not to give up that much to pull it off. If Montgomery's back, I'm starting Montgomery. Dylan, I like Dylan, man. I felt like out of the two running backs in Green Bay, Dylan had the best value because you could get him 4 or 5 rounds later than you had to take Aaron Jones. And last year, they pretty much had similar touches from that standpoint. So I'm not off the Dylan train yet. I've been starting them, so I'm not off the Dylan train yet. Dallas D or Panthers D? Dallas. No, I don't think I would do that. It's closer than you think, though. But I'm not sure I would do that one. I'm not sure if I would roll with that one. All right. So running backs, if Mostert's available, you should probably go get him. But other than him, probably Pacheco. Melvin Gordon would be the handcuff right now for the loss of Javonte Williams. If you want to take a flyer on Mike Boone, you can. If you want to take a flyer on Latavius Murray, you should. But that's it for me for running backs. It's kind of thin this week from that standpoint. Alliger, if he's available, I would take a flyer on him. I would grab him because you probably could start him this week if you needed to. Now, Corey Davis is a no-brainer for me. If Corey Davis is available, that's the guy you need to go after. Other than him, Skolnick is interesting, but I don't think that's enough for me. You could probably take a flyer on Watson, but, I think I'm good there too. Ain't too many. Agnew is interesting. Ain't too many folks that I would touch here. For me, Nico Collins is intriguing too. Nico Collins is intriguing. If Gallup's available in your league, you should go after Gallup. So, flyer on Tony if you like. I think if Tony's healthy, that might get interesting over time. But that's more of a long ball play more than anything else. If Dubes is available, you should go after Dubes. I don't think Dubes is in here. So, yeah. Tight end, Wasteland, Disley, Ingram. Maybe. No, never mind on Ingram. He went the wrong way. Mo Ali Cox is you're desperate. How's Cole Kmet been doing? Has he gotten more target share? Nah, not enough. Pass. Yeah. Quarterback, Bridgewater. Golf is available in a lot of leagues. If you need somebody for a week, I'm not mad at Cooper Rush. Daniel Jones should have a good week this week of going up against Green Bay. Could be a shootout. Pickett against Buffalo is ugly. I have no interest in dealing with that. Davis Mills is ugly. Golly. Yeah. If you need a streamer, Teddy, Jones, Rush. Those are your streamers for this week. Those are the guys you're rolling with. Because the rest of these guys can't be trusted. We went over running backs, went over wide receivers, defenses, a streamer. Dolphins, Jags, Titans. Shit. This could be a low-scoring game. Commanders. All right, that's it. That's the list. Najee has been so disappointing, man. But I got to roll with Najee. So disappointing. I would hope it might get better with Pickett there, but we'll see. But I got to roll with Najee right now. Oh my God, he's been so disappointing this year, considering what you had to do to where you took him. Yep, I would. Hopefully you don't. I tried to trade for him last week. Didn't have that much luck. Somebody was trying to trade Gabe Davis off of me. What is Baker rated in fantasy? Oh God, man, you guys like seeing suffering. 23rd. He's rated 23rd. I mean, if you really want to see what it is, we can look and see who's rated higher than him. He's down there with Davis Mills, Cooper Rush, and Cooper Rush hasn't played every game. Cooper played 3 games, and he's not too far behind from Baker. Yeah, so he's down here with folks that ain't even playing games no more, like Joe Flacco. Winston missed the game. Winston missed the game, man, and he's not too far away from him because Winston's got almost 44 points, and Baker has 47. So notice once you get past a certain point, these guys start getting bunched up together. The gaps aren't that big when you start getting lower to these lower. Or if we want to go by the averages, 28.8, 27.8, 25.3, 23, 22, 20, 20, 19. So between number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Between 6 to 15, you're only talking about a 4-point difference per week. So, on average. Those are the type of things you got to keep in mind. Devontae every week. 6-week suspension for DeAndre Hopkins. So we're heading into week 5. You only got one more game. You got 2 more games that you can't play in. So this will be the opportunity to try to get him and just have some level of patience. If you're really trying to fix your running back situation, you're going to have to trade one of those guys. You'll absolutely get the most value if you try to trade Jefferson. I think I would try to trade Higgins if possible and be willing to trade CD to get some help. If you trade Jefferson, that means you should be getting like 2 starting running backs and one better be an RB1. That's just my opinion on it. Yeah, I count Roger. I still count Roger Maris as working. So good for Aaron Judge. Good for him. Mac Jones is worth dropping, depending on what the quarterback situation is in your league. He's not a startable quarterback to me. Never has been. So he's worth dropping. I mean, if Jared Goff's out there, I'd rather have him. If Teddy Bridgewater's out there, I'd rather have him. If Geno's out there in a lot of leagues, man, I'd rather have him. There's a lot of other options you can roll with other than Mac Jones. Yeah, so you're in a good spot. You got Montgomery and Herbert, so you at least got the Bears situation covered. Even though, of course, when you do that, Eckler decides to become Austin Eckler again. But you got Justin Jefferson. I still think Justin Jefferson is the best player out of the bunch. Whenever you make a trade, the goal is to get the best player out of the trade, and I think you accomplished that mission from that standpoint. Because like we discussed in the Patreon, you want to get the best player, and you pretty much in essence got an RB2. You got an RB2 and a top 3 wide receiver, and you traded away Sutton, who could be a wide receiver 1, but he ain't top 3, and Eckler, who was declining at the time. I mean, if you got a nice roster and nobody's putting up points, that means it might be time for you to start trading some people and shake it up a little bit, man. I've been there. Or if you have faith in the roster that you have, then just roll with them. Stay put, and the wins will come because you just might be having terrible luck. I'll give you, and it's funny you say that. I'll give you an example. So in this league here, let me show you my scoreboard here. Let me see if I pull up. Let's see here. Schedule for me. Give me 1 second, guys. Am I still sharing? Oh, I'm still. You guys still seeing? No, you're not seeing my screen. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. While I. Oh no. Uh-oh. Hold on 1 second. I'm screwing the pooch right now. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Okay. Now, back to the sharing. Hold on. So, right now, this is one of my leagues that I'm in. I'm 2-2. I'll move to this. I'll do it this way. I'm 2-2. Look at the score from the final week. I went up against an 0-3 team, and by the way, we were the top 2 scorers that week. If I didn't become the top scorer that week, I would have lost to an 0-3 team. That's the type of luck you sometimes have, man. And then the 2 weeks in between where I lost, my team just didn't. Last week I had a bunch of injuries. The week before, my team just didn't show up. So I'm 2-2, good enough to be. But I think I'm the highest scorer in the league right now. Let me see standings. Let's see here. Season stats. I'm the second highest scorer in the league. I'm the second highest scorer in the league with the second toughest schedule. And that's why I'm 2-2. So, those are the breaks sometimes, man. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I mean, if you have faith in the team that you have, it should most of the time it evens out and it works out in the end, but sometimes it doesn't. I remember one season I was the second highest scorer in the league, and I had a losing record because I kept running into the top scorer every week. So sometimes that's just the way it goes. There's a little luck involved in winning these things too. But, I'm sitting in a good spot. 2-2 is not bad to be in right now. You still got opportunity. The goal for this league is to try to get the top 2 seeds. And I'm playing the second guy this week. So I got a chance to make a jump. This guy right here, I lost to him. He ain't really getting points. And he's running into guys that aren't scoring points against him too. So he's gotten lucky so far compared to like me. And even compared to the guy that's at the top. So he's gonna if everything falls the way it should, this is gonna change. Because he's one of the most lowest scorer teams. The dude is the lowest scoring team in the league, and he's 3-1. Like, that's gonna change. If his team doesn't start picking up and getting some points, he's gonna start going on a nice little loser streak. That's just the way it goes sometimes. So I pay attention to things like that when I look at the league. I don't go into a panic if I'm one of the highest scorers. Like, I'm more worried about a team that's 3-1, and I think I have an example of that. I'm more worried about a team that's 3-1, but ain't scoring enough points. So, for example, this team right here, my guys, they're 4th in the league right now. I'm 3-1, but I ain't scoring enough points to be competitive. So this is these type of situations where I'm willing to do some trades, make some maneuvers, see if I can improve my squad, because my squad is winning despite the fact that I'm not getting enough points in there. I'm getting lucky right now. It's more about luck right now. So those are the type of things you got to pay attention to. Like it's strictly due to luck right now. And I'm dropping Mariota. He's about to be out the paint. I've had some quarterback challenges in this league. I think I'm gonna be rolling with Jared Goff for the rest of the way. But with this team, I'm 3-1, but I'm not scoring enough points to warrant that 3-1 record. So we'll see how it goes long term. I'd rather have Geno because Geno's going to start all season. I would probably take, if you're that disappointed in Najee, I think I would do this. Devin Singletary has a very consistent floor. He's going to guarantee you almost 10 points a week. Let's look at Devin Singletary for a quick second. Let me see here. I like his floor a lot. I really do. I like his floor. He's starting to get a consistent 15 touches a game, 15 touches a game. I like the way this is trending. So for me, he's going to probably have like a 10.4 for this point forward, in my opinion. He got 4 catches here. So, he's getting 5 targets, 10 carries. I like where that's going. I like the trend that I'm seeing from Singletary. And Stevenson, bro. I would want to be on the side of the Devin Singletary and Ramondre Stevenson. My opinion. That's the side I want to be on from that standpoint. All right, we're approaching about an hour, guys, so I'm about to hang this up. This has been fun. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, on my personal, and make sure you follow the channel at the Panther Nation PC. And this was fun. 11:15 Sunday morning. Fantasy Q&A. Go over it in inactives. Come up with some thoughts with regards to that. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Make sure if you haven't signed up, use the code PNP when you do sign up. The best ball drafts are happening right now. And the new league start week 6, and it's only a $10. It's a $10 to play, and you can win up to $100,000. So check it out, man. And you still got the pick 'em, so you can do the hires and lowers and things of that sort, and you have the insurance. So with that in mind, I'm out, guys. I'll see you guys later this week. Peace.